iron in the soul. What's up, man? This is Iron in the Soul. Back today with another important message. Please subscribe to my channel, like this video, leave a comment. Let me know what you think about my content. Also, follow me on my other platforms as well. Instagram at The King Jabez, as well as TikTok, where I upload spiritual content at King Jabez 22 as well. And that will be greatly appreciated. Let's do some work. Let's talk about today just my journey of hair growth. And it's been a very interesting journey, something I've really enjoyed. Some of you guys have seen some of my pictures I've shared over on Instagram of the various braid styles I've tried over the last 3 years. And I'll put some of those pictures in this video as well. And just, going from initially growing my hair as, really, it was just for fashion. It was the look I wanted. I wanted to embrace that aspect of my African roots as an African American. And didn't really know then, of course, as much as I know now about hair growth and just all the spiritual benefits, health benefits, psychological. I had no idea. Again, for me at that time, it was just a hairstyle. That's it. And I saw a picture. People are ashamed to admit the truth, but I'm going to tell the truth. I'm honest, so I'm not going to lie to you. I saw a picture of Ryan Henry. He's a well-known tattoo artist who has a show that I think is going off. This may be the last season, if I'm not mistaken. It's called Chicago Inc. And, he's a pretty popular personality. He has over 1 million followers on Instagram. And I saw a picture about 3 years ago. He had a ponytail and a black t-shirt on. And I thought to myself, okay, that's a nice look. I looked at the hair texture and style and said we have a similar hair texture. And I thought to myself, just casually, okay, I can pull that off. That was kind of how it started. And after like 6-7 months, I got my first braids and eventually went to 2-strand twist, box braids, various braid styles, designs, straight backs to Nipsey's, braids to the side, the pop smokes, you name it. I tried pretty much all of them over the last 3 years. The ponytail with the hair up in a bun, the hair straight to the back, the curly hair down. So I've tried a variety of styles over the last 3 years. And that's been cool doing that. That's been fun. But the purpose of this video is to go a little more in depth and not just into my journey, but for you guys who are on a hair growth journey. Some of you guys are 2 years in, 3 years in, 5 years in. So I want you guys who are on a hair growth journey with me to just put in the comment section, hair growth journey, and then put how long. Whether it's been 1 year, 2 years. Some of you guys have been growing your dreads for 5, 6, 7 years. So I want you to put in the comment section your hair growth journey, the year, as well as just a few things you've learned along the way. So I think before I even get into my notes, I got about 15 points right here I'm going to talk about. Not in detail, just briefly. So you can breathe easy. It won't be a long video. The first story many of us think about, you, me, and others, is what? The story of Samson, right? We know the story of Samson having long locks. Some translation says it was long braids. So, I'm not too dogmatic about that, whether it was dreadlocks or French braids. Bottom line, he had really long hair. As a Nazarite, a part of his vow was to not put a razor on his head. And so you can imagine from the time of a baby to a man in his 20s and 30s, he had really long hair, okay? That he had the braid to keep it from hitting the ground probably. And this was a part of his strength. We know the story of Samson and Delilah, and when she convinced him to share his strength with her, and she had his hair cut off by some Philistine men, he lost his strength. And so we think of that story, and there's a lot of conversation even in the hip hop world, about rappers who lose their power when they cut their hair. And it seems to be true. I mean, as crazy as that sounds, you think about various rappers who cut their braids or dreadlocks off, their style, their energy wasn't quite the same. And that's something that I have taken notice of as well. And it seems that some rappers, the longer their dreads got, the better they got. That was what I observed with FBG Duck. The longer his hair got, the bigger he got. It's like his rap got better and he got more deeper into that world, if it's for lack of a better word. But aside from that, what are the benefits of hair growth? Hair growth, it is a valuable source of energy for human vitality. Calcium, vitamin D, and spinal fluid flow through the two ducts on top of your brain, which leads to more energy, more efficient memory, patience, and even stamina. I've experienced this, more stamina. I think my memory has improved. My intuition is at an all-time high, and I'll get into that a little later in this video. I think it's important to note that in ancient times, slaves would have their hair cut, which was a symbol of their ownership, as well as the fact that this was a sign of the decrease in their power. So even in the ancient world, they understood that hair at times was a symbol of power. We think about those who have dreadlocks in the Rastafarian culture, as well as in India. From my study, I didn't know this. There were men in India who had long hair and dreadlocks, various parts of the world. The Egyptian pharaohs didn't cut their hair. Once they became pharaohs, they grew their dreads, and the longer their dreads were, it was a symbol of how long they had been in power. So long, extremely long dreadlocks, which they said would swing like ropes, was very popular in ancient Egypt, as well as India, as well as, of course, what we think of today, Jamaica and some of those cultures where they celebrate the dreadlock, free-spirited type of culture and environment. And very popular now here in America with African Americans, with football players, basketball players, athletes, a lot of young men and women who have embraced the dread style for various reasons. And then you have the Caucasian race and the Vikings and the ancient Spartans who had really long hair, and it's just something that you see in various cultures of men. And it seems to me that, this is my opinion now, this is not really a fact, that men with really long hair and really big beards, there is a certain level of freedom that comes with that. And I'm not saying that if you have a haircut, some of you guys who got a haircut and got a clean shave will take offense to this. I understand that. I went down that path. I went to a school where I had to shave, every day. So I understand all about that. At the end of the day, you have to do what you got to do to get to the next level. I'm just saying, when you have the freedom to, if you would choose to do this, there's a certain level of freedom about this. There's something about this that says you're your own man. You're kind of in your own lane. Most people don't do this. And so even as message, I can't see this talk being very popular because most guys are just not going to do it. I think from my research, I think it's somewhere between 2 to 5% of men. 2 to 5% of men actually have what's considered long hair, anything over 12 to 15 inches of hair. I'm on my journey now 3 years. I'm at about 12 to 13 inches. African-American men's hair grow about 4 inches in a year. I'm sure some of the Caucasian men who hear this, other races, your hair grows a little longer. So you might be up to like 5, 6 in a year. So you might be at 18 inches in 3 years, if not longer. I'm sitting at 13, 12 or 13. And so, when you have that, it's a freedom comes with this. There is an attraction. I don't do this for female attraction, but women will comment and say, I've heard this a lot. I love your hair. It looks nice. I could be just minding my business. People they'll stare, especially when I have it up in an up bun. Now I have it in braids. I tend to blend in a little bit more. But when I have it down and it's curly or in an up bun, it gets people's attention because they can tell that it's really nice hair. It's really dark and black and silky looking. And so it's definitely a conversation starter. And I've gotten a lot of compliments on that over the last few years. That's a bit of vanity. It's not like that's my purpose for doing it. It's part of it. But it is an energy to your hair. That's my purpose of saying that. Not bragging about myself, but your hair does store and it kind of channels and collects energy. And people can feel that aura and vibe when you are around them. So the truth is, you do lose that extra nourishment, and your body has to provide a great amount of vital energy to replenish the loss of hair. So when you lose hair or cut your hair, there is a loss of energy that comes with that. Is it the end of the world? No, it isn't. Because truthfully, those who cut their hair, or those men who are balding, who have no hair on their head, the lack of hair energy can be counteracted with more meditation. So I had a word for you. I knew some of you guys would ask me that question. Okay, Iron So I can't grow my hair. What do? Bottom line is there are other ways. This is just one method of getting energy and having that aura about yourself. But you can replace that with more meditation and quietness, and also growing out your beard if you can. The hair on your face and from your beard, facial hair for men serves as an information highway to the brain. Let me say that again. Facial hair for men. This is why the ancient prophets didn't shave their beards, by the way, guys. You think about some of these Indian gurus. I can't think of his name right now. There's one guy, I watch him. He has like 2-3 million followers, Indian older men. His name starts with an S. I'm sure you guys will put it in the comments section. Older Indian gentleman has a really big gray beard. And he just seemed like he's just this wise person. I listen to him from time to time, his talks. And just his way of explaining things about life is very powerful. And he's on that type of vibration where he has this really large gray beard, long hair, pierced ears. He's really this free spirit that really enriches and it teaches a lot of people. You know what I mean? So I think men like him and others, the ancient prophets, can show you that there is a connection with your hair growth on your hair growth on your beard, your face, that can lead to more brain power. That is true. Your hairs are the antennas that gather energy from the sun, right? And that energy from the sun travels to the frontal lobes of the brain, which is responsible for meditation and visualization. So to kind of combine some of the things I've taught on my platform over the last close to 3 years, hair growth, health, meditation, and seed retention, of course, can be used to increase your intelligence. It takes about 3 years from the time of your last haircut for the new antennas to form at the tips of your hair. I thought that was pretty interesting. And so I just crossed that milestone, I guess you can say, on yesterday, the 25th. So I'm actually just crossed that milestone of 3 years of hair growth on the 25th of this month. They have something in the Indian culture that's referred to as the Riza knot, when you essentially tie your hair to a knot on top of your head. And they believe that this energizes the magnetic field and aura around yourself. And this can lead to a higher spiritual perception and higher consciousness. And so I do believe that. I do believe there is a higher consciousness and a spiritual perception, intuition that comes with hair growth. And this is why I believe one reason why the elites and people in power really push strongly for men to cut their hair. You have to understand that if there's such a push for everybody to do it, you got to think outside the box and ask yourself why. Hair absorbs energy from the sun in the day and energy from the moon at night. You should wash your hair at least once every 3 days and then wash when you're upset. The reason for that, when you wash your hair when you're upset, this can help you to process your emotions. I know that sounds bizarre to some of you guys, but I'm telling you, there's a connection with your brain, your hair, your intuition, your emotions, and channeling all that energy. It's very powerful. And this is why it's so important to, if you're on this journey, to don't just grow your hair. Don't just grow your dreadlocks and grow your hair out and have braids and not focus on the spiritual too. It's important if you're on this journey to pray, right? To take this serious, to be in meditation, to reflect, to journal. I just spent about 10, 15 minutes earlier today just journaling, writing down some of my thoughts, reflecting in quietness. You know why? Because I'm on a spiritual journey. I'm on this journey of higher consciousness when I want to have just this life that's in tune with the Most High God and also in tune with other people. There is a grace and calmness that comes with uncut hair. I will say that again. This has been my experience. I can say it from experience now. There is a certain level of grace and calmness and spirituality that comes with this journey. There was an article I read about a year ago, which was very interesting to me, about Indian soldiers. And these Indian soldiers, Native American soldiers in America, believed that there was a sixth sense that was activated through their hair growth. And through this sixth sense, they were able to read subtle signs and access extrasensory information. How did they do that? There was a drill that was done during the Vietnam War, where they had these Native American men lie down on their backs with their eyes closed. And they would have someone come by, like pretending to be an enemy, to attack them. It was amazing that the Native American men were able to get up quicker and to realize a potential threat with their eyes closed. Listen to this. Quicker than the men who had haircuts. This was a test done by military psychologists during the Vietnam War. I thought that was very powerful. So you say, Aaron, have you experienced that? Yeah, I have. I have experienced a greater intuition. I just read vibes so much stronger now. I can't even lie to you. I go into an environment, wherever it may be, out in public. I pick up on energy very quickly. And with that, I'm able to adjust. And of course, granted, some of that comes from years of experience too, of being around people, working, going to college and all of that. Obviously, is going to help. But I think there is something that has been added to that knowledge I already had. And that is that sixth sense or the intuition or the higher consciousness that comes from your hair growth, which serves as an antenna that gathers information. And that is so important. So guys, I trust that this video will be of value to you. I will probably revisit this topic again. I can't discuss everything in one video. I know some of you have questions from a biblical perspective as well, and we can discuss that too. That'll be a separate video. I just enjoyed this journey. I hope you guys have learned something from this video today. This is your brother Iron and Soul. Please feel free to follow me on Instagram at TheKingJabez. God bless. Peace.